Hey all, Hadasama AoE here. Got an incredible action-packed 3v3 for you from my guild. Hope you enjoy it. Let's jump right in with introductions. First up on Team 1, we've got Dlilib playing as the Aztecs. We've also got Asimpleart playing as Lithuanians. And finally, for Team 1, we've got the Golden Rabbit playing as the Chinese. For Team 2, we've got Nestor the Argonaut playing as the Lithuanians on the flank. We've got Arroused with 2 R's playing the Mongols. Perhaps he's a pirate. And finally, for Team 2, we've got Konpitza playing as the Saracens. I had the pleasure of seeing this game live, and let me tell you, it was pretty intense. You're in for a treat. But I can say that overall, I really like the Wolf Hill map type. It's wide open, which allows those really cool Dark Age and Feudal Age rushes before people have the time to wall up. It has a lot of resources, so you get into those ages quickly. But most importantly, it has tons of relics, so even the late game is super dynamic and interesting. You don't have to worry about people petering out of gold units in late Imperial. So it's really a fast game, a game of skill, and it's really the best that AoE 2 has to offer. That's why I love it, and I keep casting Wolf Hill games because they're just, by the nature of the map, the most interesting and most dynamic out there. And we can see right out of the gate, right at Castle Age, Asimpleart is sending forward a group of villagers to start building around the relics. At exactly the same time, we're seeing Nestor send pretty much the same size group of villagers to start his forward base. These guys know the map and they're playing it well. But it does look like Asimpleart's villagers may have a little bit of trouble with these animals. Just as these guys are sending forwards, we've got the Golden Rabbit hitting purple with a archer rush. This is well timed. It's going to blunt any activity that purple is pushing towards the center of the map. So instead of having 2 players building a forward base around the relics, you've only got 1. So we'll see if Asimpleart can capitalize on that. Nestor is sending forward knights as well to back up his forward push, and that he's run into Asimpleart's forward as well, forward force. But unfortunately, it looks like he's going to take the day. And that is going to clean up his attempts, well, his first attempt to take the center with an early push. Asimpleart is using his last few hit points to scout what he's doing, but I don't think he's able to manage to get all that much intel. Purple's doing a good job of keeping his villagers away from the Golden Rabbit's archer rush, and he has significant walling, stone walling, so that's going to really prevent the Golden Rabbit from doing significant amount of damage to him. He'll be able to poke around the edges, but he won't be able to really get it. You can see how many of these darn animals they have in this map. It's to prevent people from sending villagers forward in the Dark Age, of course, but it still is a pain. Even later in the game, you'll see these wolves and leopards attacking, paladins. It's just so annoying. Asimpleart and Dlilib are teaming up again to try to retake the center, but Team 2 has really shown up in force. They've got multiple production buildings here, resource camp, a castle now, so they're going to have a really tough time taking the center or asserting any sort of control in the center. And Team 2 is smartly pushing out units to maintain control of this area while they grab as many relics as possible. I forget if I demonstrated this, but Red is Lithuanians, and he has started moving relics back to his central base. This is a really good idea. He is ensuring that at least 5 of the relics that he needs for his horse attack bonus are out of harm's way, safely back in his original base. He also has a forward monastery there, but that's not where he's putting the initial relics. So this is a smart move by him. Team 1 has gotten the same sort of coordination that Team 2 had at the beginning of the game. They're massing their forces in the center, and they've been able to start construction on a castle and get rid of this forward resource base that Team 2 put up. They still don't have the means to really take down the forward base of Team 2, but that is, I think they're well aware of that, and that's why they've already started trade. You can see Dlilib has already started pushing out trade in the Castle Age. That's a sign that they're not confident that they're going to be taking a lot of these relics. The Golden Rabbit is still continuing to be a force to reckon with, moving his archers around, attacking targets of opportunity. I think he probably could have done a lot of good in the center, but I think he's definitely putting his archers to good use down on their pocket player, hitting Arroused, the yellow player, in the center. So he's just going to continue keeping them from reinforcing that center base and giving Asimpleart and Dlilib the time to take this center area. You can see Team 2 is still continuing, even in the face of this pressure. Team 2 is still collecting relics, because that's how you win games of Wolf Hill, is collecting as many relics and holding on to them. They've pushed out an Onger, or a Mangonel, I guess, at this point, and that's really going to shift the balance here. It looks like Team 2 has pretty much cleaned up the majority of Team 1's forward military units. At the same time, while they're struggling on the hill, the Golden Rabbit has broken into the pocket player's economy and is just going ham on it, shutting down the whole thing. So Yellow is going to be paying for not having adequate defense at home. Looks like he'll need to get bailed out by his allies. He just doesn't have the units to take on crossbowmen in his economy. So you can see we've got a good force of crossbow on crossbow and a couple of knights in here. It should be enough to clean him up, but Golden Rabbit is really making him pay for it. He's targeting down these enemies, so it's really tough to deal with. Look at that. All of those archers and 2 knights. That's a pretty good trade. That, in addition to all of the villagers he took down, I think that was a really good exchange for the Golden Rabbit. Meanwhile, back in the top of the hill, there is continued pressure on Team 1. Team 2 is continuing to push out military units while also harassing the towns of Team 1. Well, I guess this shot is looking at the walling happening in Team 1 and also their resource collection. Asimpleart is pushing out Litus, which are good choices against what will eventually become Paladin. Looks like Nestor is going Paladin. So Litus are an excellent counter unit to that, and they will continue to be for the rest of the game, provided that Nestor sticks with Paladin. The Golden Rabbit's still continuing to build his Archer Death Ball and moving it around out of the sight of the other team. He is putting a forward siege workshop, so he is looking to do some lasting damage against Purple. And Purple is continuing to pick up as many relics as possible. He's probably going to be running out of space soon in that forward monastery. Gearing up for an attack on Team 1 at the top of this hill. They've gathered about as many relics as they can without taking down Asimpleart's castle. You see that Nestor's taking advantage of distraction by raiding using knights, and Dlilib probably focused on another area of the map, probably at the top of the hill, moving his troops up, and so there's a lot of damage getting done here. Yeah, you can see Dlilib is probably busy microing these onagers, or probably mangonels at this point in the game. Team 2 is now making a push on the castle. This is great teamwork. They are utilizing multiple fronts of attack, and I'm a little worried about Team 1's position on the top of the hill. I don't think they have what's necessary to push this back. 4 rams, it's a lot of hit points, and it does look like the Mamelukes have cleaned up the Litus. They seem to do really well. Red's also doing a monk push against Asimpleart, converting villagers. I don't know how effective that is, but it sure is annoying. That's good use of extra monks that he's not using to pick up relics. Dlilib's making a good effort taking these rams down with a single knight. This is very helpful. And the Golden Rabbit is pushing once again against the flank, this time backed up by siege. So, just like Nestor attacking Dlilib, I think this is an excellent use of multi-prong attack. They are pushing this guy when he is focused elsewhere. So, I think this is excellent damage. At the same time, Konpitsa, Purple, is a little out of position, but he's using his units to raid Asimpleart. Unfortunately, he comes just a couple minutes after Nestor had already raided Asimpleart, so it's probably not going to get as much damage done as he thought. Golden Rabbit has already taken out 1 of 2 town centers for Purple, but it does look like Purple's allies are there to help.
fight this attack off using mangonels. This is a really effective counter, obviously, to rams. It's going to take some tight micro. Ooh, ouch, eating a full mangonel shot before he's able to start microing. One mangonel's down, but purple has more, and yellow is starting to crank out some siege as well. Nestor is cleaning up what's left of Team 1's base on the top of Wolf Hill, and I think at this point a lot of players would consider resigning. They've lost the strategic position on the top of the hill, which means a lot of relics are going to be out of their grasp, and I think a lot of people would consider that a good game. But the thing that makes this a really good replay is these players didn't give up, and they are still going strong. Team 2 has having consolidated the top of the hill, is now trying to finish the game by raiding. But yeah, there's just too much. They're not able to clinch the win. Golden Rabbit has cleaned up the marauding Mamelukes at the cost of a little bit of his micro attack on Kutpitsa. So Nestor is looking to put some pressure on the Golden Rabbit. But this is good recovery by the Golden Rabbit. He has minimized his losses to so far a number of villagers, just a small number of villagers, and then micros his archers to maximize the effect on these knights. It's similar to that earlier attack on Kutpitsa. His micro basically cleans up this potentially very damaging night rush with minimal casualties. Yes, he lost his archers, but he was going to lose a lot more than that. We've got a hidden ram here, clandestinely taking down a castle. Well done on Dlilib. Most people wouldn't have even bothered attacking, but here you are. Oh, he noticed and took out the ram, but not before bringing the castle down to the last 700 hit points. It's really fun to watch. So Team 1 is clearing up what was intended to be a knockout attack by Team 2, getting rid of almost 20 knights, over half a dozen Mamelukes, monks, you name it. And the Golden Rabbit has kept up his pressure. Ouch. Though those mangonels are still going to be a problem. He's going to need to figure out a way to take care of that. Dlilib and Asimpleart are pushing back against Nestor's forward base. Nestor has thrown this down after consolidating the top. You can see how many relics they've picked up, pretty much all of them, the exception of the relics at the far end of the hill. So that is almost 60 relics for Team 2. Golden Rabbit is well, Nestor's making a cheeky attack on Golden Rabbit, trying to build Siege Workshop right in the smack in the middle of his base. This is probably able to be seen by the Golden Rabbit, but he is very busy elsewhere. It's probably going to take him a little bit of time to react to this. So Nestor just being annoying on all fronts of the map. A good job by him. You got to keep your opponents off balance. So Golden Rabbit slipping up a little bit, making these, sending these siege in unprotected. it's really tough to get these archers in on location with all of these darn trees towards the top of the map. But the important thing is he's continuing to mass these archers, and even though he won't be able to take out this castle, it's pretty clear that he has the counter unit to whatever Team 2 has, and his archers are getting to be to the point where it's going to be really, really difficult for anything short of siege onagers to attack them. So Nestor's making his presence known down in his base, down in Golden Rabbit's base, by launching a mangonel. Again, this is really annoying. Without more backup, I really don't see this being very successful. But, well, we'll see how much of the Golden Rabbit's time this takes up. See if it defers his army or anything. Yeah, not really. He's sending 2 archers. Take care of that. Meanwhile, Nestor, this is the bulk of his army. It's a number of cavaliers. He's probably working his way towards Paladin, but he runs this army right into Golden Rabbit's archer ball, which that hurts. Golden Rabbit easily takes out half his army for very little trade, and that's really going to set Nestor back. But right now you see all 3 of Team 2's armies concentrated in one area of the map against just the Golden Rabbit. So the Golden Rabbit just occupying him gives the rest of his team time to press attacks on other fronts and maybe even push Team 2 off the hill, get them off get them to drop a number of their relics, just sort of catch up on the losses they had earlier in this map. You can see that Nestor's feeling a little desperate. He sends his cavaliers in, attacking archers on the low ground under the shadow of the castle, and that's going to be it for his army. He's going to need to regroup. It has done a lot of damage to the Golden Rabbit, but I think the cost is far more for Team 2. They've essentially stopped attacking on all other fronts, leaving Dlilib and Asimpleart free to build up and attack. And you're seeing that Dlilib's doing just that. He's trying to be as annoying as possible, sending eagle warriors to raid, and this is gonna further make things a lot more difficult for Nestor and others to react around the map. Eagles do surprisingly well against cavaliers, you know. So yeah, this is gonna take some time, but he's losing. He's already lost a couple monks, and certainly he's lost a good amount of villager time. Dlilib is being super cheeky, setting up a forward military base right between all of the Team 2. That's, if you can pull that off, that's going to be super frustrating. It's going to be dividing the players right when they're starting to feel the pressure from Team 1. Team 1 is already also making pushes to reclaim the hill and outflank Team 2, and doing pretty successfully, pushing with siege. The Golden Rabbit is starting to assist on the top as well, and he's making inroads down south, having tied up and even defeated Nestor's original army. You can see on the leaderboards the scores are still pretty close, but they're starting to get a little distant. The Golden Rabbit is really taking off. his archers are, again, just getting to the point where nothing can really defeat them short of siege rams. So, yeah, Team 1 using very cheap units to take out very expensive units. I mean, this is just a reflection of Team 2 having all the relics, yet Team 1 is making good trades and keeping up and actually defeating the force with superior resources. Dlilib's fort has been definitely noticed, and you see Team 2 throwing down a number of production buildings. They're going to try to take this thing out before it becomes a major problem. Team 1 has nearly taken the top of the hill. It remains to be seen how many relics are left for them to capture, but it still is a strategic location and enables them to attack anywhere on the map faster than Team 2. Again, Dlilib just being great with raiding. His raiding units are just ignoring the archers. I mean, their pierce armor is so ridiculous that they don't really need to worry about this, but every villager that he takes out is putting them further ahead at this point. And they've taken out a number. You can just see forcing him to shut down what's left of his economy. This is great use of raiding in the late game. Nestor is pushing the Paladin. But again, he's thrown away a lot of units, and so he's going to have to rebuild this army from scratch. And even though it is a powerful army, and he's throwing it up against hussar and skirmishers and pikemen, his army count is still significantly disadvantaged, and he's going to be attacking against, in some cases, 3 players at once. So very difficult for him to face this. And we've got a good siege push as well coming, so all combined, it's really difficult to deal with. Asimpleart is making excellent use of one of the cheapest units available. This you would usually consider a very one-sided engagement, but excellent micro by the Gold Rabbit, an assist from his teammate is going to turn this thing around. Like you would have easily thought that this stuff from Paladins would have not only polished off the archers, but turned and taken care of that tread and hussars. But we've got Team 1 taking this fight. A lot thanks to the damage output by these archers, and while the hussars soak up the damage. This is looking a little dicey for Team 2 at this point. Cheap units pouring in all over. You see the relics that have been dropped by Team 2. That was really their advantage, that gold income, I mean, they're losing that now. Nestor's strategy of getting his relics, getting 5 relics back in his base is really paying off, though. He doesn't have to worry about losing that attack bonus, the Lithuanian +4 attack bonus for his cavalry. I mean, they've lost the hill, but he doesn't have to be concerned about that kind of losing that bonus, at least until he started taking damage back at home, which hasn't happened yet. Chuckanu just churning through enemy infantry. Hurts to see, man. I mean, skirmishers are doing work, but they're attacking from height disadvantage, and really, it's tough to take on Chuckanu in the late game with full upgrades, range, damage. Oof. Nestor is getting back to raiding. They realize that there's significant trade going on, and so he needs to take care of that immediately. And having paladins in your trade is such a pain. God, they're normally tough to take out, and when they're just running back and forth from point A to point B, it can be difficult to catch. Real pain in the ass. He's going straight for the market, knocking this out. This is only going to disadvantage the Golden Rabbit, though. I think Dlilib is still sending his trade to a simple art. And so that's only going to shut down one of two trades. And probably only for a short time. But a simple art has really fortified that area, and so even paladins can't really do work against the trade. But it was a smart move and a good effort. It was just anticipated and quickly countered by Team 1. It's going to take a little while to mop these things up, but they're not doing tremendous damage to the trade. Boy, the Golden Rabbit is really being an unmovable object down here. I'm sure Kapitsu is just so frustrated right now. He has been under constant pressure from archers, mangonels, rams since the beginning of this map. He hasn't had a chance to really develop and become a force. He's clearly a good player. He knows counters and how to do things, but I think we've all been in a match where we just haven't been able to boom and create units, and it's really frustrating. I can really feel for Kempitsa. And he's doing his best to mass up units, knowing that it's going to be difficult for him to take on the Golden Rabbit with all of his upgrades. But, I mean, skirmishers against Jokanu. It hurts to watch. I mean, look how little damage they're doing to the archers. That's so frustrating. And just the building placement meant that his mangonels weren't able to back him up in that fight. That probably could have turned things, but it's all about micro. Well, Team 1 making a final push on the hill. Looks like they're going to clean that up. Golden Rabbit is still tanking two armies, occupying them so that his allies can finish the sweep up north. Golden Rabbit, even though he has really taken off on the leaderboards, looks like his army has taken a hit recently. I mean, he's made very good use of it. He's gotten excellent trades. I'm sure his KD ratio, if we can see that soon, is just off the chart. But at this stage of the game, it's all about having a high population, bodies out in the field. So, I mean, he's down to looks like 31 archers. Yeah, that's still make a difference. So he just needs to be more careful. Oh man, oh no. Dlilib has found a gap in Arroused's wall and has sent his eagles into the economy. This is so annoying. So now Arroused has to react quickly to save his economy, and at the same time, his army, skirmishers, I mean, they're not the greatest army, but it is his army, is getting attacked by the Golden Rabbit. Wow, so triggering a mass exodus of Aroused lumber line. I think that was a little bit of an overreaction, but what's he going to do? He doesn't have the army to counter even a small number of Eagle Warriors. And all his allies have are a few Paladins. So with just a few Eagle Warriors, Dlilib is able to completely shut down their top player's economy. It's a great job. And while he's distracted, the teams Team 1 is ganging up on what remains of Arroused's army, and it looks like it's going to clean that up. So, I mean, if you look at the military units in the bottom there, you're looking at maybe 100 population for Team 2, and we're looking at about 200 military population for Team 1. So at least the military balance is starting to look very one-sided. The villager count is still very competitive. It's starting to dip a little bit. Kapitsa is clearly hurting. He's still not been able to get that sort of late game villager count that you need. He's hovering around 60. But I mean, that has been through the hard work of the Golden Rabbit. You can see him continuing to harass and damage and prevent Kapitsa from really being able to recover. Kapitsa, you can see in the mini-map, he's sort of started, he's given up on his main base, and he started building in that spot in between his two allies, and that's sort of, that's the last thing you want to do is just give up your territory, but he's been forced to do it. Oh, some great Onager hits. Nestor is forced to switch to champions to counter the trash surge and eagles coming out of Dlilib and Asimpleart. I think this is a smart switch. It makes use of the same resources that he's been grinding out for Paladin, but it'll be good against all the buildings that are being the production buildings, the castles, the town centers, but also give him a damage bonus against all that trash. Team 1 is making a very good push on the pocket player, Arroused. You can see that he's dropped from number 1. That lumber line is still totally taken out. Dlib's earlier rush has just decimated Arroused's economy. It's looking to be the end, but it's cool to see these players, even though they're down in the points and the military score is a little lopsided at this point. They're certainly not giving up, and they're not throwing their units away. And Nestor is making a good push right now, and it's sort of catching Dlilib by surprise. He has a ton of production buildings there, and that's gonna help him a lot. But he doesn't have the mass to take care of the amount of champions getting thrown at him, and this is going to be a problem. Even though their Team 1's lowest score is higher than Team 2's highest score at this point, Nestor is still putting pressure on him. Asimpleart is oh, poor Kapitsa. Or him, I would rage quit about now. He has not gotten a break all game, and I gotta say he's played really well, despite being under tremendous pressure from probably 15 minutes into the game. So they're able to react to that push and clean it up pretty fast. And meanwhile, Nestor is doing work here. He has taken down a castle, he's taken down production, and he has certainly hurt Dlilib's ability to, or anything that Dlilib is pushing out to counter these units. So he is putting pressure on Team 1 single-handedly. But I don't think that is, it doesn't appear to be enough. Asimpleart and the Golden Rabbit are mopping up Kapitsa's original base. Looks like this might be it. Asimpleart and Dlilib combined are going to be able to mop up these champions before they're able to take out this castle. So I think they're going to hold against this, but well done by Nestor. I mean, dislayed the game, putting this kind of hurt on them, and getting into the trade too. Still knocking that trade down. Yeah, we're seeing the last attack by Arroused, making good use of the elevation, taking out some of the most expensive units with the cheapest. Good use of counters. Kapitsa is down but not out. He is cranking out heavy camels, which are certainly going to be effective at this point in the game. You've got Asimpleart going cavalry. So it's, depending on, I mean, these guys have been smart in their engagements, but he can certainly be a counter in an engagement if he's careful about it. And it looks like Nestor's switching back to Paladin at this point. He's sort of given up on the champion push. This is pretty much the conclusion of the game. Team 2 continues to fight for a little bit and does some great trades, starting to utilize monks and trash really effectively, and give Team 1 a run for its money. But the point of culmination has already passed, and so I'm going to cut it out here. Fabulous game all around. Team 2 did a tremendous job, but Team 1 outplayed them, even without relics and the strategic location at the top of the hill. They have been able to come back and take over and win. So well played by both teams. So I'm going to end it there. If you like this content, give it a like. If you think there are things we can do to improve, hit the dislike and put a comment about what you'd like to see. If you like this type of stuff, subscribe to see more. And I'll catch you next time.